The Gulf Injustice Podcast, the official podcast of Detained in Dubai with Radha Stirling.
Okay, hi Reda. Thanks for joining us on the Gulf Injustice Podcast. Now, I know that you've been in Ras Al Khaimah for a number of years. It was November 2016, you said that you had your problems originally with the factory. Now, can you tell me what you were doing in Ras Al Khaimah and why you went there in November 2016?
Actually, I had a company since 2013. I bought it from from the previous owner. I was a partner before, and I bought it in 2013, and we started a manufacturing process in 2016. Everything was well actually until November. Some members of the federal customs came to me and asked me to join in the company, and since I was like really shocked by this. I was really shocked. Yes.
In the company, what do you mean? They wanted.
They wanted a share. Basically, they said, "Yeah, we'll make it. We'll help you. This, that." And I was okay. That's basically asking for money. So I was really shocked. Anyway, that at that time, 1 week later, I went to 3 days later. Sorry, I went outside. I traveled. Abroad. And once that person knew about it, it's like literally Sunday morning, he called me. Sunday morning, then he make a case that we are selling fake items.
Okay, so he came into your factory and he wanted, what was it, 20% he asked for, 20% of your business?
Yeah, at that time, after that, yeah, we learned that it was 20% that he wanted.
So he wanted 20% of your business, but he wasn't actually intending to work for it. Essentially, it was a bribe.
Yeah, yes, it was actually. I think he just liked the setup of the company, and yeah, that's all, I guess. So it was easy money for him.
To a customs officer in particular, not necessarily the government. So it's possible that he was acting alone or in collusion with police forces or other members of the government.
Well, I can tell you for sure that two of them, but in my opinion, there were more people later on, and especially, I believe he got more people with him.
I mean,
more people than these two.
This is astonishing corruption, really. You have RAC, on the one hand, trying to invite foreign investment into the country from the United States, from the United Kingdom, the Free Trade Zone Authority. Were you operating under the Free Trade Zone Authority?
Yes, it was a free trade zone. Actually, the funny part is, actually, when this happened, they stopped all the staff or me to enter the free zone completely. I was not even allowed to check my mail. And I find out later on that there was actually no legality in that. There was never any official document from the court to stop this. But when I asked, they said, yeah, we have a good relation with customs.
I see.
And I am a paid customer. I mean, I paid in advance all this money. I paid the 1 year rent in advance. It was like the renewal was maybe 2 months before or 3 months before. So that's it. They just closed down. I cannot work. We cannot do. That's it. Simple as that.
I mean, that's amazing because, you had Osama Al-Amari, the former CEO of the Free Trade Zone Authority, under the former ruler. They were really advocating for US investment into the Free Trade Zone. But then it seems now, that the Free Trade Zone Authority has become completely corrupt, or at least subject to corruption from within the emirate. And I mean, we used to have a lot of corruption in Dubai. Some still exists, obviously, but it looks like Ras Al Khaimah is years and years behind Dubai as far as trying to clean corruption up is concerned. And that's really concerning for foreign investors. So what happened when you declined the bribe? Because I remember the last time I spoke to you, you told me that when you were first asked for the money, you thought it was a joke and you kind of laughed it off. And then following that, they actually tried to enforce this, this bribe request as though it was a mandatory thing. And they came to your house, as you said, they ransacked it, they kidnapped your wife.
Yeah, the thing is, actually, he was really thinking that I was not married, that I was living with my assistant, living, without marriage. It was illegal at that time. I guess they changed that recently. But he had this idea that, okay, I can go in. It's like free market because he's not married. And this was the idea as well, that when I was abroad,
they could get you on cohabitating without
exactly. So I had no other choice. If it was true, actually there was no other choice. I would not have come back because there was no use. Whether I clear my name on something, I'll get blocked on something else. So there was absolutely no use. But this is what he's thinking, actually. But it was wrong on both of them, on both sides. So what happened after that was really very, very sad, actually. It was I never expected this the tricks that happened actually later on.
So yeah, it must have been frightening anyway. Obviously, during that time, you have no idea what's going to happen to you, whether you're both going to end up in prison, whether you're going to be deported. You would have had no idea what was coming next.
I really believe that. Actually, at that time, I believed in the justice system, to be honest. But I thought this was just too dirty cowboy. Yeah, but yeah, I was actually quite wrong, I believe.
You were naive and you thought that if you're
really,
you'll easily prove that to the police. It will never get to a courtroom, and you'll be back in your company, and those people will be either disciplined, fired, or jailed. But that's not what happened, is it? So tell me what happened next.
So okay, there are quite a set of events, but so basically, I came back. I think that they closed the factory and attacked my wife. I think on Monday. Wednesday I was back. I didn't know what was going on because nobody informed me. So I was just going. I arrived from the airport in the morning. I went to customs. Nobody say anything. The next day again, I go to the customs. Nobody say anything. Our manager is not here. Manager is not there. Boom. Saturday, Thursday, he did the trap again. He tried to do a trap. Like he called me, asked me this money and this, and I knew that this time actually this was a trap actually. So I knew he was something was wrong, and Saturday actually I took a lawyer with me and I went to the CID police in Ras Al Khaimah. Okay, I go, I give my ID, I wait. Then they say, no, you cannot make any claim here. Sunday, I go to the main office of the customs in Ras Al Khaimah. I meet the general manager. Then he informed me that there is a case and this. I was really shocked. But I thought he wanted to listen. He said, come tomorrow. He said, oh, I have a meeting in Dubai. Come tomorrow. Bon. The next day I come. And before that, I was arrested. Yeah. And the funny part is that the CID said it was so hard for them to catch me, to arrest me. Whereas I know that they had the pictures when I arrived in the airport. I saw the pictures, the car picture there. In the airport, they made several pictures of me. I went to customs. I went to their office. I went to Germany. But at the end, they said it was so difficult to catch him. So it was all a setup. And so, yeah, they said actually I was making fake items. I knew that was not true, actually. And I know that they knew it was not true. After that, I made so it went on for some time, this investigation. In the meantime, I told them that there's two people, and I had a recording actually to say that these two people were dirty. Okay, it took 6 months. After 6 months, I think one of them, they said it was sent to another emirate. So they said this is the the recording was correct. They asked him to come. He said that he asked 2 times for money. Blah blah blah. This. So after that, what they decided is to take 5 people, 5 experts, so-called expert, which actually were his best friend. So the 5 experts to come and check to make any additional claim if they have. So they asked them to make another report. So when they went to the factory was open. The factory didn't have key. They said they lost the key. The lock was removed. The seal was removed. And of course, at that time, they said, oh, they found new documents. And with this new document, they said, I smuggle, I undervalue, and I smuggle, these 2 things. So it was, I find out after that who gave them these documents and who was their accomplice for that. But it was, it was really horrible, actually. And no work before that, actually, just surviving in between.
So basically, I mean, they set you up, they wanted money, and they just kept putting different kinds of pressure on you in hope that you would eventually pay them, or that if you had complained about them, because you eventually did, that they would then have to turn around and take allegations against you in order to invalidate the claims that you'd made against them. Now,
and this is what they did with with this guy. They made 2 separate cases, one for him and one for me. So basically, the idea was that he can go and say that he was he was pushing very hard. He saw the crime, and he had to act in urgency. And all his friends came and said, "You see, this guy stole. We are the expert. We saw that he stole. He said this, that." And so he got away. Actually, basically, he got away. And well, for me, actually, I had to deal with all this with factory closed, barely few documents in my hand to prove anything. And that's the thing. And the time is running. And then the liabilities for my companies were going, and everything goes as if I tried to make a bankruptcy, like to pose this matter, rejected. It was really horrible, actually.
The bankruptcy laws in the UAE, they seem to only be available to Emirati companies rather than foreign nationals. So, I mean, would you say that this incident, that in attempting to bribe you, that caused your factory to be shut down, you couldn't operate, your business couldn't operate, which then caused a trickle of other events, including bounce checks and all sorts
of... Oh, yeah, for sure. Yes, it was a catastrophe, really.
And totally out of your control entirely.
You are powerless, actually. I was very careful with money and with this kind of financial commitments, and it's horrible because you are powerless. You are just powerless, actually. And everybody behave it's normal. That's it. You sign. That's it. It's your mistake, and it's really horrible feeling. And especially when I know that they did it. This was a fake accusation, and they knew it. That I know. I'm sure of that. And that's very, very sad, actually.
And now you're at least facing, you mentioned earlier, 2 months in prison and a 500,000 dirham fine. You have no factory that you're operating to earn that money anymore.
No, because after 2 years or 1 year and a half, they said, actually, there is nothing wrong in your product. You can take it back. But of course, I mean, after 1 year and a half, what I can do? I mean, there's nothing I can. Oh, sorry, not more than 1 year, nearly 2 years actually. There is nothing I can do. There is no work, no process. It's impossible to take back. And I knew that since there was the warehouse was open, the factory there was open, I knew they would never let me anyway.
So you must have lost an incredible amount of money and investment and personal savings, I would assume, in having lost that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I lost everything, basically. I'm left only with the liabilities.
So you lost everything, and potentially facing prison unless there's something that you can do about that. But it's
Yeah.
fiction already, isn't it? So there's a sentence out there. You're potentially going to spend that 2 months in prison, and there could be more cases coming. Is that
Actually, this person, one of the two, actually admitted that there was one of the policemen actually was involved in high-ranking policeman was the one who suggested to make the claim to set me up for corruption. Actually, the second time he admitted, and after that, I saw that there were so many discrepancies in the investigation. Yeah, I believe probably there was other people involved.
And do you think
to help him?
I mean, without intervention, I mean, your embassies haven't been of any real assistance to date.
No.
Now, without
No.
any intervention on a diplomatic level or anything else resolving, do you feel that you would be stuck in the UAE for a very, very long time? What do you feel the end game is?
Actually, yes, to be stuck, actually, because you are talking to the wall. You cannot explain that you cannot pay because they made fake accusations. You cannot explain that. You cannot explain that actually they close your factory, they close your warehouse, they close your offices. What you can do? And for at least 2 months, that was illegal. That was illegally closed. There was no order from the court to close the factory. There was no order. I am sure of that. I tried very hard to do that. But I go to the prosecutor. He said, "No, I never gave authorization. You check with the customs." I go to customs. They say, "No, we have authorization." I ask them, "Please show me." They say, "No, we don't have to show you." So I know that this was done. This was not correct. This was not done correctly. But yeah, it's like a wall, actually.
What can you do? Yes, I mean, and the other thing is, I mean, we've noticed ourselves just from having spoken to so many different victims recently that Ras Al Khaimah is basically the Emiratis in Iraq are essentially able to do whatever they want, commit any crimes they want, commit any level of corruption they want, and they're using foreign nationals, foreign workers, and investors as scapegoats for their behavior. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret. It's an open secret, let's say, and it's happening again and again. So you're certainly not the only one in this situation. There are many people coming forward to talk about this extreme level of corruption that I think certainly affects its rating system, as we've discussed with the Fitch ratings. They shouldn't have this kind of rating when the level of corruption is so high that it's risky for anyone to not only invest and have their own company under the free trade zone, but also to have a bank account with RAK Bank or work for the government even.
What I can say, it's probably true, yes. I would have, if I knew all this, I would not have invested, that is for sure.
I mean, what would you say now to foreign investors at this point in the current state that Ras Al Khaimah is in? Doesn't seem that anything's changing. It seems to only be getting worse.
All I can say about my experience is that if an Emirati wants something against you, he gets all the help possible to create a complete story and accuse you and make fake documents. And the justice system was not fair in my case, I believe.
This is what I was going to ask you about. What is your impression of the whole legal system, the police, the court system?
We actually, very simple actually. One of these two Emiratis basically needed, in some of the evidence or in most of the evidence, actually, he said opposite of what is written in English. He said in Arabic opposite of what is written in English. Literally, like this is written this, it was opposite. He said this is my signature. It's not even my signature. It was somebody else actually connected to them. We asked that the experts, the so-called experts, should be independent. It was denied. Why? They wanted the five. He's actually basically some of his 5 best friends actually to make a separate case, so he can to say that he's a hero. He saved his country from the fraudster and this and that. and keep me with all the trouble. And so he got away, and I have to be standing there.
I mean,
So
that's incredible when you think about it. Non-independent experts appointed by the court with no say, but usually you also have to contribute financially to the fees for the expert.
At the end, they said for the civil case, at the end, they said, yes, we can appoint somebody, but it was somebody from Ras Al Khaimah court. And at that time, I didn't have any more money. And I knew that all the documents are so where nothing was translated in Arabic. The lawyer said, anyway, all this, if you want to justify something, you have to translate. I could not afford that anymore. So I could not afford. So they said, okay, no need then. You just pay 500,000 dirham.
I mean, so on account of that, we shouldn't have any court system in other countries enforcing judgments that are coming from Ras Al Khaimah, where we're seeing falsified evidence, we're seeing convictions in absentia based on the opinion and witness statement of an Emirati who is immune to prosecution. So when you report them for a crime or corruption, there's no way that they're going to see the inside of a courtroom. They're never going to be charged, and they're not going to be thrown in jail, and they're not going to be deported. So it seems like it's just really, I mean, RAK is known as kind of the cowboy state of the Emirates, and it seems that this further exemplifies that. The court system is unbelievable. Whatever they want, they just pass through, and the same goes if Sheikh Saud wants a ruling on a particular case that he's involved with, he tells the judge what to rule, they print out a judgment in his favor, and that's their system of justice there.
Well, I can give at least my experience, and it was not pretty. That's I can say that there was I have to admit I lost faith in the system. I knew that to say opposite of what is written in English, to create evidence, I was really shocked actually. There was one, if we have some time I can explain to you. There was one part when they said they came up and you said I was smuggling I think 7 million or 8 million dirham. I was smuggling from my car because there is a gate pass and we have to pay customs. So they said, we have proof that you smuggle 8 million dirham over, I think, 5-6 years, even when I was not there. I saw the documents that they did. All these documents, there was nothing came actually from the Ras Al Khaimah. There was not a single proof that there was any shipment from Ras Al Khaimah. These invoices means a lot of these invoices were abroad. If I wanted to do this smuggling, even if I wanted, I would have got my 5%. There is no use for me to smuggle if I get the 5% back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And the worst is that. One of this person, I mean, the manager of this, the responsible person for these 5 Emiratis, the expert. 1.5 years before this case, I met him for some paperwork, and at that time, we were discussing, and he asked me about my turnover, and he checked the system, and he was surprised. He thought this is very low. I mean, my turnover for him was lower than what I was telling him. So at that time, I went to the main office in Ras Al Khaimah, okay? And I asked a statement of account. And, okay, correct, actually. There was a big difference. Incoming compared to outgoing, okay? I looked at the document, at the report, and I immediately saw basically maybe 75% of my work that my export that are going through customs, that I receive a receipt, a gate pass, a truck pass, was not recorded because it was a specific type of transaction. Is basically sending to another GCC country, and for some reason it was not showing in their system. And those same documents, some of those came out in the invoices that they said smuggled, and I showed that to the judge in the civil case, and they removed that. They were saying, okay, this document, it was smuggled. This is the proof. There is airway bill, and I showed that the transaction document from them, the receipt, money receipt, the gate pass, everything. They created actually the accusation. On some part of it was because of their system was wrong, and a part of it was just completely. I mean, yeah, just. How can I say? I mean, it's fake. Actually, it's false. It's false. This was crazy. Really, it is insane.
I don't think there's any other explanation except that they were looking to extort you. So the more allegations that they levy against you, the more likely you are to pay them. There you have a big company. You've got a plant there, a factory. They assume that you're going to have some bribe money, and that's what it all comes down to.
Yes, I guess this report and all that was done to hurt me, of course, but it was done because these documents were not there. It was done to hurt me. Then it was done to save the other guy because they made a separate case for him. So we can say that he is the hero and this and that. So yeah, what can I say? So this is something.
I mean, if you don't pay the bribe and you report the corruption, you're going to end up a bigger target. You're going to
yes, definitely.
You and all of them in collusion, including potentially the police, the prosecutor, and even the judges in Ras Al Khaimah.
But at least I can say that he said, one of these Emiratis said opposite of what is written in English. And actually there was two documents. Because 1 day and a half before the judge appearance, they finally gave me the authorization to check the file, and two documents when it was so obvious that he said opposite, I could not find them.
So you're saying they're translating statements from Arabic to English?
No, they never even translated. Nothing was translated. That was the beauty of it. Nothing was translated. There was no document translated. There was, I believe, one document from 2012, some random bill of lading. And just because there is my name and there is a company, I think in Taiwan, I believe, that was the proof that I smuggle, I cheat, I do. There was nothing wrong with that. But they can say whatever they want they can say whatever they want. And that's the problem.
Absolutely. And there's no checks and balances. There's no authentication of evidence.
The policeman actually came to they were saying that I saw in the documents that they asked the police, the CID, to check, and they said, yes, this is his signature. Yes, he does no way to know. And it was not even my signature. It was not even my signature.
So that, I mean, at any level in the government and the judicial system, they'll all stick up for each other. So there's no way that a higher court or a higher prosecutor or a chief justice or something like this is going to come in and wipe out the corruption at the lower levels. They're all going to back each other up.
Yeah, we just asked that they should be at that time some independent expert. They refused. At the end, they only wanted some...
Experts in the UAE have been known to be corrupt. Even the top 5 accountancies have given completely fabricated testimony with, respect for fabricated evidence as well. So the experts in UAE courts are an absolute farce, and especially Ras Al Khaimah.
One of his an expert was actually in March, I think 2017, or March or April, I believe I have the dates. He was trying to call me before he was appointed as an expert. He was calling me to ask for a letter saying that I'm giving them the key for the factory. He asked me for a letter at 10 p.m. This was a missed call, but he called the next day at 10 p.m. And after that, I find out that he was calling from his personal phone, not the office phone. I don't know if this kind of people can be fair. If he's there to help his friend to hide that they kept it and it was not closed properly, I don't think it was fair to have this kind of expert.
It's very difficult, and I mean, even if they're not friends or if they're not family, you're still going to have the issue that if they don't give the answer that they know is wanted from them, that they're going to be fired or deported or, you know, whatever it is. They're not going to be called.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. They're under so much pressure to give the answers desired by the government issuing party. So it's unfortunate. I mean, I won't keep you much longer. So,
Okay.
I mean, we've covered a lot and we'll keep covering it as the weeks go on in your particular case. And, but thanks very much for coming on the podcast. I just think what you said there is, you know, it really is shocking because I don't think anyone really knows about this level. I don't think anyone's aware. I certainly don't think that, you know, business groups and mutual economic societies, you know, you've got the British RAC group, you've got Swiss and so on. And they've all got these little, you know, economic groups that are encouraging investment in both countries while ignoring this kind of situation. And it simply can't go on. People are going to end up, you know, in prison for years, decades, like we already have people in prison in RAC on trumped up frivolous charges. And it's just going to continue unless we stop that money coming into RAC and stop their ability to borrow money cheaply and profiteer from this abuse.
Well, I have just, since you're a public figure, I have just a small request. If somebody is listening, if somebody from federal government is listening, if they can just ask their employee just a simple question. If he knew when he closed down my factory that none of my product was wrong. It was just a simple question. If he knew that there was nothing wrong, that's all. After that, you can check if I'm say correct about statistical invoices, if this is the document in Arabic, the statement in Arabic compared to the document in English, you can check it. But if you can ask this simple question, and you will see that it was a scam, basically.
Good message. And I will be speaking to your governments again in the next week or so. So I do want them to intervene and at least support our campaign for your freedom. So thanks very much, and I wish you.
Thank you.
I wish you safety, and I wish you home soon.
All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Gulf Injustice podcast. I'm Radha Stirling.
Thank you for listening to the Gulf Injustice podcast.